Christina Angela.
Said it's like 66. But
All right, it is Monday, September 23rd at 6 PM. We'll call our meeting to order. Start off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we'll have a roll call.
Simonson,
Yes.
Rickrell, Lyon,
Yes.
Hollister, Coolman,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Okay. Item 4 is our consent agenda. And we have a renewal of a Class B beer permit and outdoor sales license and Sunday sales with living quarters filed by Maquoketa Brewing LLC.
So move.
Got a motion by Simonson,
Second.
seconded by Coleman. We have no discussion. Take the roll.
Rickrell,
I think you said yes. Can you unmute yourself, Councilman Rickrell?
Lyon,
Oh, abstain.
Coolman,
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Simonson,
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item 5 is our approval of tonight's agenda.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Lyon, seconded by Bennett. And if we have no discussion, take the roll.
Lyon,
Yes.
Coolman,
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Simonson,
Yes.
Rickrell,
That passes.
Yes.
There we go. All right, that passes. Next, public participation. Is there anybody in Zoom land wish to address the council? Anybody else? If not, we'll move on. Item 7 is new business. A is a resolution creating a community development manager position, approving the pay scale, and authorizing staff to advertise to fill that position. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, and thanks for coming tonight for this special meeting. We've had 2 Finance and Personnel Committee meetings regarding this agenda. I don't feel it's necessary for us to wait till October 7th, and that's why you're here tonight, so thank you for coming. And this pressure is created because the wonderful Judy of 35 years is on the path to retirement at December 31st, and so I'd love to give her a big round of applause and, either be a later time for that and we'll be sure to honor her, but it really poses a lot of challenges because we have senior key staff retiring. We've seen it in our Public Works Director. We're about to see it in Judy. And there will be a short time, I'm sure, where Brad Coranda, former police chief, current building inspector, and he manages 5 city boards, including Property Maintenance Board, the zoning boards, and Building Code of Appeals, and others. These folks need to be replaced, and I feel it's necessary to put the city council in a position where we're trying to train for these responsibilities in-house, which is what this item is all about. And it was the number 1 identified concern of the city council at our goal-setting session. And so to objectively reach for that, and that's something of more of a budget-neutral manner, that's what this description is about, and that's what the position later in this agenda is also about, is try to paint as neutral a picture as possible so that we can try to move forward as a city organization as some of these key staff individuals are retiring. As I was drafting this Thursday afternoon, and I'd stared at it and reread it 5 times, I had Andrew White, our Finance Clerk, try to read it and understand it, and I'm trying to break it down as simply as I can. But what I've painted here is a picture of a do-nothing option and keeping sort of a status quo as if nothing was changing, as if chamber or JCA contracts weren't changing, as if there were no staff changes and anything else. And if we're assuming the motions and resolutions in this agenda tonight are passed and they're filled appropriately with good people, what you'd experience is a savings in that fiscal year 27-28 of $203,436 based off of an all-inclusive personnel sheet, your IPERS, your payroll taxes, your health insurance, and these things. And to get us there, I need authorization tonight to pursue those positions, and that's what this agenda is. For this particular action item, this is for a community development manager position, which is wholly dedicated to pursuing economic development, working with the chamber, working with JCA as well, and other outside organizations, while also working with our property maintenance folks to make sure that we have something in place for when Brad is thinking about moving on, which he's still with us and he's still happily with us. I don't expect that in the next few months, but this person needs to be trained and ready for when that time comes. And again, it's person dependent. So we're at a point where we need to start thinking about this, and I need the authorization to go ahead and start recruiting. And so we don't want to put ourselves in any sort of catch-up position, which I'm somewhat fearful of. I do want to be clear that this action is really meant to be half of a property maintenance code position slash something of a community development, economic development, and can serve as also a little bit of a project manager backup for me too. I'm not planning on going anywhere, but Andrea and I have both been through a lot in the last couple of years managing all these capital projects. Who's got this piece of paper? Who's managing this file? And you're going into these email chains with 40 different messages in them. It's been quite an experience, and a position like this would have really helped, and it will help build out some capacity for you in the future. And you can see in the table a bit more on page 3 of a little bit of that do nothing option versus the proposal. Our intention here is to reconcile some of this plan in our budget, where our expected next year contribution for JCA goes from up to $60,000 to $20,000 because we're finished with our contract because we need a new one in place anyway. So that's how this comes into a better financial position. I am seeking to recommend this to be TIF claimable in our next urban renewal plan, in which hopefully in the next month or two would be in front of you for consideration. Another option for this position is having them become CDBG certified. It may shock you to know that 25 or 40,000 of every CDBG grant we do is payable to ECIA as a contract manager. And should we have ever had a CDBG certified position throughout any of our CDBGs, we could have collected that staff time too along the way, and it would have helped out a little bit of our office efficiency within our walls. There's a lot of food to chew on in this particular item. It's person dependent. Some of the discussions we had at Finance and Personnel revolve around communities are using this kind of community development umbrella for how they, in an organizational manner, put their code violations into it. It seems to be a trend. It seems to be a more kind of acceptable way to describe what happens in a city organization. It's just that here, I'm proposing that you try to do it with essentially one person, 1.5 people, so that someday you have a code inspector, a rental registry person, and something of a half-half position to help manage it all. And I think that would put you in the right position should we find the right person. Please do ask questions on this.
What is the time span and cost of becoming CDBG certified?
Well, I believe it's a week training, 1 week. I went to visit IEDA last year and had to pick up someone at that training at the end of the week on a Friday, so I believe it is 1 week only.
You don't have an idea of a cost?
I don't know that.
Don't know?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Anybody have any questions? Anything else?
I
Yeah,
would like to
go
say
ahead.
one more thing.
Sure.
This is kind of awesome. You don't see real often where people, companies, cities are proactively reaching into the future. Way to go, guys.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I agree with her.
Thank you.
This is very forward thinking.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So moved.
Okay, we have a
Second.
motion by Lyons, seconded by Alinger. We have any discussion? Take the roll.
Coolman,
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Simonson.
Yes.
Rick Earl,
yes,
Lyon.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. Item B is a resolution creating part-time secretary position, approving the pay scale, and authorizing staff to advertise to fill this position. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I won't be as long in my description in this one, but I'll also kind of treat it as a pitch for the community if anyone's listening. Assuming this passes, we're seeking something of an office secretary, similar to our secretary job description at 1,400 hours. That's no health insurance included, but there could be room to grow in the city at a later time for when there's another retirement. And what this does and what our aim would be is to hire on the expectation that it would be a Monday through Friday job during high volume time, 10 a.m. to 2:30. And that would give you a little bit of a buffer if someone was out or there was going to be a prolonged vacation to say, hey, can you do 8 a.m. to 2:30 this day, or 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. to help cover the window. This position has a lot of the job description already put in from the secretary position if you did check out our backup. And with this, there's a bit of a share in one of the next action items involving the confidential secretary and deputy city clerk position at a later time. So we're looking to economize the office. We are a busy office, as you know, and we're doing a couple things right now to help out and limit some of that staff time so we can make all this possible. But for the purpose of advertising and recruiting, this part-time secretary position has never truly been authorized by the city council, which is why this is in front of you tonight.
Do you have any questions?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Simonson,
Second.
seconded by Bennett. And if there's no discussion, take the roll.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Simonson,
Yes.
Rickrell,
yes,
Lyon,
Yes.
Coolman,
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item C is a resolution amending the jobs descriptions. Go ahead.
Mayor, council, there's a 30-page backup document that's been communicated to you. Did any of you have questions on this? And I put out those red lines when we looked this over with our office staff and thought about the way this kind of works into a shorter version of a chart, if you can read it. So, anything?
I think the chart's fantastic. I like how it's separated and individualized like that.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Simonson,
Seconded.
seconded by Bennett. If there's no discussion, take the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Simonson,
Yes.
Rickrell,
yes,
Lyon,
Yes.
Coolman,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item D is a discussion and possible motion approving new pay scale from Finance Clerk. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. This next item is based off of a compensation study the city contributed to with the city of Dyersville. And I've referenced that study a couple times before, but it's very recent. It's April 2024. 10 or more cities contributed to it for the finance clerk / treasurer style position. I've known we're out of place on this. An accountant can go command some money at this point in time. And I want to make sure that Andrea stays here, and I want to make sure if Andrea does go, that we're in a position to recruit too. So I'm asking for an adjustment based off of market here to incorporate this into our pay scales, and this is a flat-out adjustment for that position. I think Andrea has been fantastic for our city and has been through a lot with our capital projects. So that's what this is. If you have any questions on this, or if you click through the link to explore.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Coleman, seconded by Alinger. And is there any discussion? And take the roll.
Simonson,
Yes.
Rickrell,
yes,
Lyon,
Yes.
Coolman,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
All right, that passes. Item E is a discussion and possible motion approving a stipend in the amount of $200 per month for the confidential secretary. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. And this one, as you can imagine, deputy city clerk position / Judy is going to be extremely difficult to replace. And in the interim, confidential secretary Jan Kettleson rightfully asked for some version of some greater incentive if she's taking on just a bit more work, which is fair. And at this point, I hope and expect Jan will be able to fill many of the duties that Judy's going to be vacating the position with. And so Judy's got 35 years in. I go on vacation. She can, ask, you think you assigned her interim city manager a couple times over. It's a lot to ask for of a new person. I don't want to set any responsibilities up for any sort of challenge in the future. So what I am asking for here is an interim incentive of $200 per month for the confidential secretary position. I would like to have us go a few months seeing how we do to fill the deputy city clerk position, and then make a recommendation at a later time, once we know for sure that we're there as an office staff to promote into the deputy city clerk position. And Judy also, right before the meeting, said that she's on the right track or something similar about her retirement date. So I don't want to also, put us in, get ahead of ourselves. And we'd welcome Judy to stay, but you never know. And I think that's what this is all about, is trying to make sure that our staff is in the right spot for the future. And if we're picking up some extra work here and there or added job responsibility, that the appropriate people are compensated for that.
So moved.
Hold up.
Oh, sorry.
Just a quick question. How did, 200 to me seems like a low value. How did you come up with that number?
Yeah, and we don't really have much for precedent. Our dispatcher training pay is 50 cents an hour, which comes out to just, I think a little under $1,100 a year. It is just a number that I've kind of referenced from prior experience on some incentive where there's kind of some specialized skill incentive in police departments. This number, if you feel more strongly about a 250 or something like that, I leave that to you, but that was just kind of the discussion that I started with and what we had talked about as an office staff. I'm sure that person would love an extra $50 a month, but this is for you to decide. It was a recommendation by me to the Finance and Personnel Committee as of our last meeting, but please.
I kind of agree with Ginger, it's kind of low.
I mean, you're talking like a lot of extra workload on there, and that just doesn't seem like a fair value.
And when you say it's a temporary or interim incentive, does that mean that temporarily it will be until you get a replacement for Miss Judy?
No,
Or,
the goal would be to fill Judy's position with the confidential secretary, currently Jan Kettleson. So
Gotcha.
I'm banking and hoping on that success. It's just in the interim, how is it fair?
sure,
That's the argument here. And
Gotcha.
so, and honestly, I put 200 here, and we've talked about it. If you feel it warrants some extra incentive, that's, I work for you. And if you feel that's right, you tell us.
I think if you guys discussed it in detail with finance, then
I think the 200's fair. Obviously, Jan's going to eventually, as she steps into that role, get a salary increase. That's the initiative to do a good job. This is just kind of that Band-Aid of, yes, we know we're adding more work, but some places do it, some places don't. So, I mean, $200 a month it's decent, so.
Is that a satisfactory answer?
yeah.
Okay, well, we have a motion by Alinger. Is that still good?
yes.
Okay, anybody want to second it?
Seconded.
Okay, seconded by Bennett. Is there any more discussion? Then go ahead and take the roll.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Coolman,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes,
Bennett,
Yes.
Simonson.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. We make it to item 8, which is reports and communications. Anybody on the council have anything to report? City manager?
Negative, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, with that, I'd accept a motion to adjourn. Okay, we have a motion by Bennett.
Second. Second.
Okay, and a second by Coleman. All in favor, say aye.
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 We're adjourned.